What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, alright, we're coming back to Linkin Park. Yes, indeed, Linkin Park fans, feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all the clicks and the likes and the bibbidi bop, do me a favor, before you do all that stuff, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Sebastian, and this is actually Sebastian's prioritized request for the month of March for being a silver tier member on the Patreon page. So here you go, Sebastian. I hope you enjoy the show, man. Sebastian wanted to see me react to this song by Linkin Park called Guilty All the Same. Now, have I heard the song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, hang on, I've heard this song before, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This was posted by Linkin Park, okay? And the video has 876,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Guilty All the Same, Linkin Park featuring Rakim, or is it Rakim? No, it wouldn't be Rakim, would it? Yeah, it might be. The Hunting Party, whatever that is. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Better. This sounds rough, like a rough cut. This doesn't sound like a finalized, polished, fully mixed, fully engineered song. This sounds rough. I don't know, man. Sounds very garage band-ish. I do like the play with the three. You know, putting the changing the note on every third 16th note. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. I like it, of course, ending out with the 4 so you can get it, because you know you gotta have those 4 sets of 3. So it'd be 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. Yeah, that'd be 16. So if you have 4 sets of 3 and then 1 set of 4. For the 16th to equal a 4/4 measure. It is in 4/4. the whole time. It's been in 4/4 the entire time. They're giving that illusion of 3 because they're doing, like I said, they're changing note on every third 16th note. So 1E and 2E and 3E and then they end with 4E and the 4. So it's interesting. I've heard other bands do that before. That's something shocking. That's something new, but they're doing it really well. But man, the sound quality on this is just, it's rough, man. It's really rough. And it's shocking because this came off of Linkin Park's official page. So this is what was released. They intentionally made it sound like this. Why? What? Are they intentionally going for the garage band sound? I mean, if they are, congratulations. They did it. You know, I mean, kudos to them, but why would anybody want to release an album that sounds garage band-ish? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Not this rough sounding. Weird. That's kind of interesting what's happening with that resolve. So the pattern.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
D, so that's the 1, down to the 5, to the 6, which would be the A sharp, down to the F, which would be the 3. Now here's the interesting thing. From the 3, they have gone to the 7, which would be the C. They have also gone from the 3 up to the 5, which would be the A. And they have also gone from the 3, the minor 3, down to the 2. So they have gone 3 different ways now off the same setup. And the thing is, they all work. They all work as resolving notes. From that 3, which would be the F, you could go up to the 7, which would be the C, to resolve to the D. That works just fine. You could go from that F to the 5, which would be the A. That also works just fine as a resolving note. And you could also go from the F to the E, which is the 2. They've done all 3, and they all sound good. They all achieve the exact same thing. That transitional note to resolve back to the root again. They all work. It depends on what you want to do. Do you want to have an ascending resolution? Do you want to have a descending resolution? Or do you want to have a 5 resolution? It all works. It all works. It all sounds good. They all have their, I guess, pluses and minuses. To me, just to me personally, considering the fact that we're starting on the root, the root's the resolve, right? And that's how we're starting. And we move down to the 5 first, to the 6, to the 3. We're moving down, but we came up. So started here, went down, came up, went down. To me, what makes the most sense, and this is just me talking, to me, the most sense would be going back up to the 7. That, because going from starting down, up, back up to the 7. That makes more sense. I wouldn't go to the 5. I mean, the 5 sounds good. Don't get me wrong. The 5 sounds just fine. I wouldn't go back into the 5 because that was the first note that we went to off of the root. We started on the root and we came down to the 5. I wouldn't go back up to the 5 again. You can, and it does sound good. They did it. It sounded just fine. But I would want a little more variation. I would either do the 7 or I would do the 2 from the 3. So from the 3, go up to the 7 or go down to the 2. Personally, I would go up to the 7. That's just me. Take that for what it's worth. It's interesting hearing them go 3 different ways off of the exact same riff, the exact same setup, just 3 different transitions to go back to the root. It's interesting. It shows diversity, and it shows them thinking outside the box of we don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. We can show some variation. We can show some variance, and that's cool. That's definitely cool. Let's keep going here. Went down to the 2. 2 and think you got one to 5. Guilty all the same. You're guilty all the same. Throwing that flat 5 in there.
Yeah, you already know what it is. Can y'all explain what kind of land is this when a man has plans of being rich? What the boss's plans is wealthy. Dirty money scheme, a clean split, nonsense insane. Even corporate hands is filthy. Talk team and take the paper out. All they think about is bank accounts, assets, and realty. Anybody's expense, no shame with a clear conscience. No regrets and
really dirty.
The claim that ain't the way that they built me.
The guitar tone's really muddy. Really, really muddy. Especially with the vocals being in front, it's hard to differentiate to where the chords are going and what they're playing because the vocals are up at the front, but the guitar tone hasn't changed. It hasn't honestly, it hasn't backed off either. So it's turning into sludge, and I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all.
About bank accounts, assets, and realty. Anybody's expense, no shame with a clear conscience, no regrets.
Can't even tell what
the claim that ain't the way that they built me. Smoke screen before the flame. Knowing soon as that door the deal peak. Say it's time for things to change. Rearrange that good product we built cheap. Anything if it's more to gain. Drain manipulated like artists is real deep. Until no more remain. But I'm still me. Like authentic hip-hop and rock to pop and radio. And record companies kill me. Try to force me to stray and obey. They got the gall to say, yo, how real could real be? You feel me? You will see. The green could be the blame. Greedy for the fame. TV or name. Media the game. To me you're all the same. You're guilty.
You're guilty all the same. Too sick to be ashamed. You want to point your finger, but there's no one else to blame. You're guilty all the same. Too sick to be ashamed. You want to point your finger, but there's no one else to blame. There's no one else to blame.
Up to 5.
All the same. Guilty all the same.
So to the 6, I believe. To the 5. To the 3. To the flat 5. Up. Yeah. I mean, it's not hard. It's different. It's different because they're usually utilizing both the 5 and the flat 5 in the same riff. So root to the 6, down to the root to the 5, down to the root to the minor 3 to the flat 5. And then they go to the 5 to resolve back down to the root 6, 5, 3, flat 5, 5, root 6, root 5, root to the flat 3 to the flat 5. Again, it's different. Here's the thing. It sounds good. That part does sound good. It's different. I think what's bugging me about that is they're resolving from the flat 5 to the 5 to the root. They just do that quick little motion up to the 5. I don't know why. I mean, it is pleasing to the ear, I guess. You just don't hear too many songs utilizing the flat 5 and the 5 in the same riff. It's a little weird. A little weird. Maybe that's the point. Maybe that's the whole point, is to have that kind of a dissonance with the resolution immediately. Yeah, maybe that is the point. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Let's finish this out and we'll get to the review.
Guilty on the side.
Back to that 3/16 note pattern. Yeah. I'm not sure about this one. I'm really not. I don't know how this is gonna go. There's a lot of different ways this could go. Let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Linkin Park with Guilty All the Same. This was a request from Sebastian, and this was actually Sebastian's prioritized request for the month of March for being a silver tier member on the Patreon page. So there you go, Sebastian. I hope you enjoyed the show, man. Okay, before we get to the score, we just have a couple of announcements we gotta go over. I'm doing the announcements for every single video for the entire month of March. So if you've already watched one of the videos that pop up in the month of March, feel free to skip forward about 5 minutes and you'll be able to skip the announcements because you've already heard them. Announcement number 1, we are going back to the old scoring system. I've already implemented that beginning on March 1st. So we are back on the old scoring system. You guys let me know that's what you wanted. We had the poll, you all voted, and about 2/3 of the votes said, yes, go back. So we're going back, and believe me when I say this, folks, I have absolutely no problem doing that. That is totally fine with me. One of the reasons that we are going back to the old scoring system was that a lot of people with the new scoring system of the 5 stars were concerned that we would have an oversaturation of 4-star ratings. There'd be too many bands, too many songs getting the rating of 4 stars. And guys, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I saw that problem myself, and I'm not disagreeing with you guys at all. Here's the thing though, the old scoring system had the exact same problem. If you go back and look at all of the scores I've given throughout the history of the entire channel, I would say roughly 2/3 of the scores that I've given have been between the range of 7.4 to 8.6. Now I know a lot of people right now are doing the math in their heads and they're going, well, wait a minute, that's 13 different scores. That's a lot bigger than just one. You're absolutely right. It is a lot bigger than just one score. It's 13 different scores out of 100. That only gives you a 13% margin, which is a little bit smaller than the 20% margin you would have had with a 4-star rating out of 5. So it's a 13% margin, guys. It's a small margin. Now, I did say during the course of the live stream that we did, to discuss the scoring system, I did say during that if we do go back to the old scoring system, I got no problem with it, but there's going to have to be some changes made to avoid the same problem. So here we are with the old scoring system, and I have already started making the changes. The changes are very simply this. I got to get tougher, I got to get harder, and I got to make it more difficult to get those higher scores of 7s, 8s, and 9s. And we got to refocus on making 5 the middle ground. 5 is the average. 5 is the middle ground for everybody to start at. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Nightwish. I don't care if you're Love Bites. I don't care if you're Pearl Jam. I don't care if you're Nirvana. I don't care if you're Bandmate. I don't care if you're BTS. Everybody starts at 5. Everybody does. And you can move your score up or you can move your score down. But from now on, everybody starts at 5. Getting a 7 is going to be a lot tougher now. Getting an 8 is going to be even harder. And I'm going to be honest with you, folks. Getting a 9 now, it's going to be pretty much impossible. If you get a 9 now, boy, did you ever earn it. So just please keep that in mind, guys, that when you hear me give your favorite band a 5, it's not a bad score. That means it's average, okay? That's number 1. Announcement number 2. The whole reason that I went to a 5-star scoring system was to make things a little bit easier and a little bit simpler to comprehend and internalize and interpret for people coming into the channel for the first time. And during the course of the live stream, people were saying and giving the suggestion of, well, why don't you give the numeric score and then why don't you give another score, give the star rating or whatever to reflect that score? I don't know why I didn't think of that before. Seriously, I have no idea. I'm not omnipotent. I'm not all-seeing and all-knowing, despite the fact that I sometimes try to act like I am. But guys, I'm not. I'm absolutely not. And sometimes I need a little help seeing the bigger picture. So to all of you that did attend the live stream and made that suggestion, thank you very much, because you really kind of opened my eyes and went, oh, there's more than one way to do this. So I am going to be giving my numeric score just like always, but I'm also going to be giving 3 other scores for a grand total of 4 different ways to give the exact same score. So we're going to have the old school numeric score. We're going to have a scale score where you'll have your great, really good, pretty good, okay, so forth and so on. We're also going to give a star rating. I'm going to keep the star system. And we're going to have 5 out of a possible 5 stars. And that will correlate with the numeric score that I'm going to give. And then I'm also going to give a letter grade for those people who just cannot seem to get their mindset out of elementary school. So, numeric score, scale grade, star rating, and a letter grade. Now, if you cannot internalize and interpret and be able to understand at least one of those 4 ways, then folks, I can't help you. I'm sorry. You might want to think about possibly going and checking out another channel, because I have a feeling this is not going to be the channel for you. So that's the announcements, guys. Let's move along to the score now. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that a 4.7. Yeah, 4.7. I don't like giving low scores, guys. I don't. But at the same time, if the score is deserving, then that's what it's going to get. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first things first, a 4.7. What does that mean? Okay, it's underneath the average, it is, but it's not terrible. Okay, it's not horrible. A 4.7 would equate to a not so good scale grade. It's not too good. It's not bad. It's not horrible. It's not terrible. It's not an atrocity. It's not so good. It would also equate out to a 2-star out of 5, 2 out of 5 stars, and it would also equate out to a C letter grade. Yeah, about a C, a low C, but a C nonetheless. So, yeah, 4.7, not so good scale, 2 out of 5 stars, and a C letter grade. Now, how did I get to this score? So glad you asked. I have heard so much better from Linkin Park than this. This sounded, I hate to say it, this sounded amateurish. It really did. This sounded garage rock-ish. Just the engineering on it alone, just the mix and the levels and everything else just sounded very amateur, very rough. Very rough. Like, I don't even think this was even engineered at all, to be honest with you. The levels were all over the place. In particular, in that section where we had the, I'm assuming that was probably the guest. I forgot the name. I think that's where it was probably at its worst. The guitar and the bass just suddenly clashed and got super muddy. Like, there was no clarity whatsoever in that section. And you couldn't even tell what the chords were that were being played. You couldn't hear the notes. All you heard was just noise, just tonational noise. No distinct notation at all. It just didn't sound good at all. And that really, more than anything, comes down to engineering. And like I said, this was very amateur-ish. Very low grade, coming from Linkin Park in particular, who've always been, like, if you go back and listen to some of their earlier albums, listen to Hybrid Theory album, listen to Meteora album, you're going to hear that their sound quality and their attention to detail in their engineering is top notch. This, I don't know what this was. It did not sound good at all. As far as the notation goes, as far as the musicianship goes, it sounded like everybody did a fine job. As far as playing their instruments, everybody sounded like they were doing a good job. Again, have I heard more impressive songs and more impressive musicianship from Linkin Park? Yes, I have. This was a little bit on the easier side, for sure. I will say, there were two things about the song that I did kind of get a kick out of. Number one, the intro and the outro, playing around with that, the 3/16, 3/16, 3/16, 3/16 to the 4/16 to resolve. I got a kick out of that. I thought that was really cool, and it was really well done to boot. The other thing that I kind of got a kick out of was within the chordal pattern within the riff as well, particularly in the chorus, from the root to the 5 to the 6 to the minor third. That was constant. That happened every single time. Now, where we went from there's where some variance happened. Sometimes we went up to the 7 towards the beginning of the song. We went up to the 7. Sometimes we would resolve up to the 5. It made sense. It sounded good. Not particularly where I would go, but it did fit. It did work as a transition back to the root. The other thing that they would do is they would go from the 3 to the 2. And a couple of times they went from the 2 back to the root, but there were also, during the chorus in particular, they would go from the 2 to the 5 transition to the root. I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of that. I think if they were going to go to the 2 from the minor 3, go from the minor 3 to the 2 to the root. That would make a lot more sense than 2 to the 5 and sharing the responsibility of the transition. That felt a little awkward to me. Wasn't the biggest fan of it. But either whether you're going to the 7 or the 5 or the 2 from the minor 3, they all work as transitions. So showing some variations, showing some variance, I got no problem with that. I think it was pretty cool to show those different variances and what each one can do and what each one sounds like as a transitional note to go back to the root. And make no mistake, they would always go back to the root. The only exception being when they would go to the 2. Sometimes they would go from the 2 to the 5, then go to the root. So, and like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of that. Vocally, I'm not trying to say this to be rude. I'm just saying this very matter of factually. It's typical Linkin Park vocals. Very typical. Not bad. But I'm also not going to sit here and say great either. I've heard far better Linkin Park vocals. I've heard far better, especially from Chester. I've heard far better from him than this. This was good. It was pretty good on the vocal side. So I got no problem with the vocals. But overall, what it really came down to me more than anything was just the mix. The mix on this was amateurish at best. And what's really shocking is this, and this is what I'm going to end with. The fact that this came off of Linkin Park's official page. Like, if this came off of Joe Schmo's official page, some YouTuber's official page, and they took the song and they uploaded it, well, I can blame them. I can blame the uploader, because maybe the uploader took the song and did something with it. Maybe they put it through some sort of a filter. Maybe they compressed it. Maybe they Maybe they decided to add a little extra distortion to, you know, the track as a whole. Don't know why anybody would want to do that, but some people do. I've heard it before. I could blame the uploader for that. This is coming off Linkin Park's official page. So it was their call to put this up. All right. That means that was done intentionally. It was intentionally uploaded with this sound quality. And that, to me, that is, I hate to say it, but that's piss poor. It really is. Coming from them, by their own standard, this is bottom of the barrel. So I don't understand why. I don't get it. But in any case, it is what it is. So, I mean, like I said, 4.7, it's not a terrible score. It's below average for sure. And to be honest with you folks, this is definitely below average from what I've heard from Linkin Park in the past. This is probably one of the worst songs I've heard from Linkin Park from an engineering standpoint. So, yeah, but that's part of the equation, isn't it? So, yeah, I feel good with that. That's where we're going to stay. So let's sum it all up and wrap it up in a nice, pretty bow, shall we? 4.7, not so good scale, 2 out of 5 stars, and a C letter grade. Take your pick. I don't care. Whichever one floats your boat. Final word, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, then I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.